Welcome back to my studio. I'm Bea Grub and I love to inspire you. It is all about art journaling, painting, collage, assemblages, and anything else that sparks my interest. So enjoy! Hey everybody, welcome back to my studio. I'm so glad you're here today. Now, what to do when you feel uninspired? Well, I'm gonna tell you what I do. So what I do, I make fodder for my art journal pages, for my ATCs, for my cards and whatnot. So let's go to the table and I show you a little bit what I mean with that. It's not my original idea. I actually did see it from the Dilution, Diana Rivalry or something like that. She just stamps and cut out, and I think that's a fabulous idea. That's what I did too here. I did use like cardstock pieces, mixed media paper. I'm making sure that's a little bit of a heavier paper. Now, I often use those kind of things, leftovers from other projects where I have to cut out shapes and things like that. I keep those until they are really small and then I make paper out of it. Okay, so I do it in black and white, so to speak, or cream and black, but I also do it, and that's what I'm gonna show you today. I first use things like that. I apply paint and then I stamp. So that's what we're gonna do today. Now let's start with making some room first. We don't need the stamps yet. And put those aside. I do have a little bit of a palette paper here and I'm gonna use a baby wipe and some acrylic paints. It doesn't need a lot, that's actually already too much, but sometimes it is hard to have just a small amount. And I'm not using a brush or something like that, I purely go with, yeah, that's more what I want. Yeah, I'm using just a baby wipe to spread the color around. And I have chosen some reddish, purplish, orange colors. But I also have some alcohol inks here, which I'm gonna use while the paint is still wet. And just for fun, just because I can, I'm also gonna use a stencil and adding some patterns. This is also from my shop, Distressed Scales. And I'm using the translucent color so that I don't lose what is underneath. And I'm not going, whoops, here we go. I'm not going everywhere, just partially. Okay, the second version I do very often is I use my wax crayons and I use one of those water tank brushes with my glimmer mist because I'm just tired of those not working nozzles. I'm not that patient. Probably one is partially also my fault because I don't clean them really properly, so yeah. It's just, yeah, I'm just having troubles with that. So but I still want to use up those things. So I'm just, oh, that's too purpley, I didn't want that. I want more blue-green this time. No specific reason, just because I think it's nice. Okay, now comes the part for the stamping, and what I have here is some fun foams. They're rather thin, so I did decide to glue two together, and I didn't do a very good job to lining them up, but oh well. I like to stamp on the fun foam. It just gives a little bit of a giveaway so that the stamp is nicer, cleaner. Sometimes, not all the times. Anyway. And I'm gonna use this bird window stamp, which is actually brand new in my shop, so go check it out at www.beargrob.com. I'm gonna use the flowers and maybe the bird, and certainly also the butterflies. The butterfly, it's just a butterfly, but I'm gonna make several. Now in the same set is a window. That's what I was thinking when I did the green version. So yeah, let's see. So I'm not gonna make you watch all my stamping. I mean, that's kind of boring, but I'm gonna start a little bit with my first stamps. Let's do the butterfly. And I have removed all my stamps from the ESET mount. I use instead those silicone pads, self-sticky silicone pads on my blocks, which works like a charm for me. Okay, and I'm using StazOn any permanent ink because maybe later on I want to color in again, so yeah. Let's stamp some butterflies. Give this ink a little bit time to transfer. We are not at the post office where it has to go as quick as possible. Just saying. It's actually not a butterfly, it's a moth. Just thinking about that. That's something we can do all the time. It's not a lot of energy involved, and we're still playing with colors and here with stamps. I mean, and maybe we have the idea what we're going to do afterwards right while we are doing that, because very often if we play, we just don't think too much. The idea is starting to emerge. Okay, that's how I clean my stamps. Just, that's too small for this one. I do cover up with those release papers just to, I mean, those things are washable, but hey, who wants to wash all the time? So I cover it up slightly when it is not in use with those release papers. Now this acrylic pad is slightly too small, but I like to work with as small acrylic pads as I can. That's just me. I do have the big ones too, but I prefer the small ones. So what I do instead, I just press a little bit on the rubber in the places where it is not on the block. But that's totally up to you. If you want to use the large acrylic blocks to stamp the large stamp blocks, that's fine too. It's just, oops, that didn't go too well. That's the waxy wax crayon paper. That's a little bit more difficult to stamp. Give it a little bit more time and make sure that you have well inked, which isn't here the case. Just making sure. Giving time to transfer. Here we go, that's much better. I'm still gonna use that one, no worries. Okay, I think it is dry, I hope. Now it is time to fussy cut. And there are two ways you can fussy cut. You can fussy cut just straight at the black line, which I actually have to do here because I'm really close. Or you can leave like a 2mm border, half an inch border, whatever you want. I actually prefer being rather close. It's just a matter of preference. And again, I'm not gonna make you watch me fussy cutting all those pieces. I mean, there's no big science to it. The only thing I would suggest, try to move the paper and not the scissor to go around the corners. That's much easier. So that's what I would recommend. It is not perfect, but I still can go on with some black, but sometimes I like the distressed look, so it doesn't bother me. Now for those pieces I actually gonna use a punch, just to punch out my little swirls. And you also can think about whether you want to use your electronic cutter, but for me it's just too much work. Especially on the colored paper, it's not easy. Maybe it's better if you do those kind of things on stamping on white paper, so that you have a really good contrast between black and white. And I'm not always fussy cutting completely. Sometimes I just like do it like that, but some I have cut really completely. That's again up to you. I also did print, I also did stamp, not print, some quotes. Again, you can do it or not. But sometimes I like to have things just ready to glue on my card page, ATC, whatever. Now let's switch to the butterflies first. Now I think I'm gonna zoom you a little bit in. Now here with the butterfly, with the antennas, I actually go around here and then just make a little bit of a border, and if you don't feel like doing that, you can cut them off too and then just draw them in later on your page or card or whatever. But for here I think I'm gonna, oops, you can't see it, I'm sorry. So let's do that again. That wasn't a good sample, you couldn't actually see it. Okay, now as I said, here with the antennas, I go off here, go around here a little bit and just let some background there. Now in the next part I'm going to show you how I actually use those things on an art journal page, and maybe later on I'm also going to show you some ATCs or cards, or yeah. So stay tuned. Okay, here we are. I hope you enjoyed and I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.